Hello there, I'm going to show you some raking techniques using our Polaris rake set. You can get this at the link below if you're interested. Fantastic set. It comes with a 5,000 word digital guide on advanced raking techniques. Raking is a really underrated technique. A lot of people think it's a beginner's technique and they quickly move on. A lot of people also think it's just a question of sticking the rake in and out of the lock until it opens, and if it doesn't, move on. But as well as in and out of a lock, when you're raking, you've also got up and down movement. And if you've got in and out and up and down, you've also got this kind of ellipse technique you can use. You can also rock the rake as well. And you've got the combinations of all of those. There's so much more to raking than what people initially think. So I'm going to try and show you. So I've got this lock here. Key works. Pop the wrench in, and I'm just picking the first rake in the set, the 2-hump Bogota. I'm going to put that in and just get an idea of what's going on in that lock. Where do I go here? Yeah. So it's actually good. Loads of engagement. I'm feeling pins setting. The wrench has moved round there. Because what happens now with this 2-pin Bogota will dictate how I move on to other rakes. I mean, the engagement's good. Oh, it's really good. I can feel that I've set a few pins already, but it's a little bit, there's 1 or 2 towards the back that aren't moving there, so I've moved the rake up in the lock to try and tack those last 2. I've taken slight pressure off the wrench to see if I can, there's just 1 there now that's not. Okay, so reset the lock, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to move on to the 4-peak Bogota, because the problem I was having was getting the in and out movement. And so with 4 peaks on the rake, I don't have to move it so much because there's obviously more peaks to engage more pins. I'll put the wrench back in, make sure the lock's all set. Try again. So immediately, nowhere near the same amount of movement required. The wrench has swung round. That happens all the time. Good Lord. Try and set that wrench back. Really, you can hear it there, just gnarly engagement. And again, the same pin seems to be frustrating me. I've let the pressure off of the tension tool so I can grab that pin. It seems to have gone. The wrench has come back a little bit, so I've loosened tension again. Moved the rake up in the lock, and no, it's not buying it. Okay, so I'll reset that. So now what I know now, because I've used a 2-peak Bogota and a 4-peak, I want to move on to something less aggressive. These waves, while still having the up and down of the Bogota, aren't so aggressive because they don't have the high peaks. So this, and immediately, oh, look at that. There you go. And when you get round to the top, the pins fall back down to the keyway. So put your tension wrench in, push the pins out the way, and you can continue your turn. So I learnt there that this was the one through trial and error of the other rakes. The first, well, you heard it all. Let's just do that again so you know it wasn't luck. You know, I now know that this is the rake for this lock. So tension wrench in. And also you might notice I don't maintain the same tension on the wrench. I tend to pulse it when I'm raking. It's like that. That's an exaggerated version of it. My finger doesn't tend to come off the wrench, but I tend to pulse it. Push, 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 so it can adapt to changes in the lock. Let's try it again. And then up there slightly. There's that damn pin. Tension off slightly. Try again. In. Lower it in the lock slightly. Higher in the lock. Tension wrench has moved round again. See, when that tension wrench moves round, I'm losing space in the lock to rake. I mean, there's a topper keyway wrench in this set. A lot of people don't use topper keyway wrenches when raking, but they do have their their uses. Unfortunately, this lock looks like it might be a bit tight for this wrench. Yeah, no, that's too tight. Damn. And there you go. Okay, let's move on to this second lock here. Key works, although the pins feel terribly loose in there. I mean, this is what locks are like. Can you hear that? There, the pins jumping up and down. We'll put that in and we'll start off with the city rake. Great rake. Every decent set of picks should have a city rake. And I'm just going to get an idea for what's going on in the lock to see what kind of rake I need. So I'm just letting it glide over the pins. I think, again, another wave, but one that's the most aggressive out of the raves, the one with the biggest troughs, and I'll try that. And this is just something there you go. Raking's amazing. And you'll learn all these tips and techniques over time. You'll learn to, start with one rake, get a feel for the lock, learn what language the lock's speaking, and then you'll know what rake you need to move on to, and that's how you'll get success. I hope you enjoy this video. Links in the description if you're interested in the Polaris most comprehensive rake set in the world.